So, how long does it take to learn German? If you're a total beginner and you want to start speaking a little bit, this generally can be done. I've seen it done in maybe 100 hours of learning. And when I say hours of learning, I suppose that you have a way of learning, either a good course or a good tutor that you're like making good progress with, plus your extra time you take to practice, to read, to write sentences, or whatever you do to practice. So it should take somewhere on average people about 100 hours to go from nothing to go to the first level where you can start speaking about your immediate environment in short sentences. This sounds maybe long or short, but that's on average something that people have. And then after that, it's maybe about 200-300 hours to come to the next level where you can use very basic tenses. You can also speak about the past a little bit and about the future. And maybe just to give you an idea, after that, about 300 hours for every further level. That being said, it can make a difference which language you're speaking originally. If you speak English, you may have a little bit a harder time to understand the German grammar than maybe if your native language is Russian. Sounds maybe funny, but Russian or a few other Slavic languages have, according to the grammar, similarities with German, and it's going to be harder. It is work. I think it's work to learn any language, but German maybe. I think German could be a little bit more difficult in the beginning than, for example, English. It is relatively easy to start speaking English or to start speaking Spanish. These are languages that are easier in the beginning. German is a little bit more like French or probably Russian, which I've not really tried to learn, but I know it a little bit from some students. It's not so easy to start in the beginning. Like you have to learn quite a bit to like even make correct shorter sentences. But that's not that there's too much importance given on the correctness of the sentences in the beginning.
Want to go terminal of
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
how long take to have proper way to talk the language, get along.
Cool. Wow. That's an interesting question. First of all, most of my students actually try to learn German because they live in a German speaking country and it's not their native language and they need it. So it's a very different situation. But it's a good question because obviously people learn German maybe to speak to German speaking people, which I think is a very nice thing. First of all, the good news is in the big cities, at least, and in the tourist areas, I think in all three of these countries, you will find people that speak English. I mean, it's a general thing. It's not like in maybe France or Italy where it is very hard to find people that speak English. So that's the good news. However, if you put in these first 100 hours that I said in the beginning, that will give you the possibility to speak about your immediate environment, I think it will give you credit because if you go to a place and you make an effort and you show that you care to learn the language, even though it's not perfect, I think people will be happy about it and will like it. However, obviously, to really understand Austrians or Germans or Swiss, it obviously takes longer. It takes much longer. Yeah.
Someone right? I
Hmm.
call estimate
Oh wow, that's a good question. Okay, good. Let me first I want to say something even though I'm trying not to use too many how do you say special words. There is something called the European framework for foreign languages, basically. And they have a numbering system for the level of the ability to use a foreign language. And it starts with A0. A0 means you're a total beginner and you know nothing, basically. And A1 is this first level I said you can achieve with usually about 100 hours. Then we come to A2, which is, by the way, an important level because you need A1, for example, if you want to get a visa in Austria. The first visa, they require you to know A1. And to really have that level, it's about 100 hours. A2 is a little bit more advanced. You need this for the next visa. Like if you want to have a visa where you can stay about 2 years in Austria or something like that, then you need A2. And that's maybe another 150 hours. And then the next level the next levels are B1, B2, and then is C1, C2. So B1 and B2 are already longer levels than A1 and A2. So I would say B1, B2 is about 200-300 hours of learning while being in a German speaking environment. So it's learning for about 300 hours each, plus going out and having communication conversations with people that are in a German speaking area. And then C1 is a level that most people will only try to achieve when they want to go to university, to be honest. I mean, most people that I know, even business people, will usually be happy with B2. So I think when you are in a B2 level, it means so you can speak about pretty much anything except for maybe highly philosophical or scientific subjects. And I think most people are very happy with B2. And then if you want to start a business and you have B2, then you can talk to people and get an idea of how they are and communicate with them. But then for the real serious stuff, you get a lawyer or interpreter, which you will anyway, even if you speak German. So I would say if you sum this up, this is about 100 for A1, 200 for A2, 300 for B1, and 300 for B2. So this is about 600, 800, 900 hours, I would say. So you can do the math. It depends a little bit on how much time you put into it. I do not think, even though it is offered as intensive courses, that these things work as super intensive courses. Like you do not really achieve a B2 level by doing a 50 hours a week course for 6 months. I don't think it works that way. But you may be able to pass a B2 exam, however. If that's, yeah, I don't suggest that because I think if you live in a German speaking country, you should actually speak the language and not just have the exam. In summary, I mean, first of all, learning German, if you really go into this and if you live in a German speaking area, I think you have to understand that you never stop learning a language. My native language is German. I've been speaking it for like almost 50 years. And I don't stop learning German. I still learn new words. I look in a dictionary and so on. So this is not something that ends. However, if you want to learn German and you like start putting in maybe 1 hour every day, I think, what did we say? In about 3 years, you can be at the level where you know enough German to apply for the Austrian citizenship. This is not the only prerequisite you have, but many people that come to Austria want to be able to eventually apply for a permanente Niederlassungsbewilligung. So that means that they can stay here or even a citizenship if they married an Austrian, for example. And in order to do that, you need B1, 2 level. And I think, and you should be able to achieve that in learning about 3 years, like 1 hour every day on average, with a good course or a way that helps you, because it can be much longer if you have a bad course, obviously. Hello. My vision is to give all the learners of the German language a possibility to really actually learn German and not be confused by an overabundance of grammar and too much criticism and stuff like that, and show them that German, like in all its complexity but also its beauty, can actually be learned. It's a learnable language and it's worth doing it.